Hey everyone, welcome again. My name is Jason. For those that don't know me yet, I am the product training manager here at Console. Now today is our second unveiling of our 3 product releases. And if you didn't catch us last week, I talked all about inbound SMS. Awesome. So before we jump in, what I'd like, if you have any questions or comments, you're welcome to pop them in the comments just down below. In either channel that you're watching on. I'll try to answer them after the session, just so I can run through everything during the session. And also don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube and Facebook channels as well. And I've just popped the addresses on there, or you can search on each of those channels just under Console AU. All right. Okay, well, let's not wait any longer. I'm going to run the reveal. I'm going to reveal the next one. So what I'd also like you to do, if you haven't already, popped in which number we'll be guessing. So you can pop them in the comments just down below. And then obviously the answer will be revealed after the little video. All right. Here we go. Awesome. So there we go. So as you saw, it was draw number 1 this time. We're back up the top. And it was obviously paper inspections. And again, it's another cracker of a feature that will help you really take your property management to the next level and outperform your competitors. Sorry. Having those superior tools or those superior inspection tools all at your fingertips. Now, we all know, and I can speak to this from personal experience, and I'm sure many of you can be on both sides, that both the PM and for the PM and the tenant, the entry report is one of the most time-consuming, but also one of the most important parts of any new tenancy. So in entry condition reports, they are a help to really protect your owners and their investments, and also your tenants at the end of their tenancies as well. Paperless entry inspections is designed to allow you to digitize that process while onboarding your tenants onto the Tenant Companion app, or also referred to as the Console Tenant app. Before I jump into a bit of a deep dive, we'll have a little bit more of a play, and I'll show you. Here's a quick little preview of what paperless inspections is all about. So I'll just pop that on.
Power up your inspections with paperless entry inspections. Console Go Inspect subscribers are now able to share completed entry inspections and reports with their tenants directly from within Console Cloud, removing the hassle of printing and signing physical copies. Once an inspection has been carried out, the tenant is notified and can then log into the Tenant app to review and sign. Let's take a closer look.
Perfect. Well, as you seen, that is a quick little preview, and we can actually jump into a little bit more information. So just going to run through a little bit of the setup and how tell you all about Go Inspect before I actually show you a little bit of it as well. So again, paperless inspections were designed to take your inspections to the next level with the ability to complete your entry inspections digitally. And that's including obviously Go Inspect. And then also what we're talking about today is the paperless part for your entries is via the tenants and via the tenant apps. So what is paperless entry inspections? So put really simply, paperless entry inspections allows you to share your entry inspections directly with your tenants, all within Console Cloud. So really, really simple. Your tenants can then review, add comments, and then they can also digitally sign it. So it really removes that paper process and those many pages that we've all filled in too many times. So how to get started, really, really simple. So it's available to all of our Console Go Inspect subscribers. So if you're not already subscribed to Console Go, make sure you subscribe to that today. If you are, it's activated now. Obviously, it's just been released. We've had a few offices throughout Australia trying it, and then we've released it to everyone now. So it is currently available with your Go Inspect subscription. Also, for the tenant to complete their review, they must also be able to install the Console Tenant app. So that's actually important to note. That's available on all phones, iOS and Android phones, and of course tablets as well. So it's a very, very supported and simple app to use. All right, so setting up, there's not really much to setting up. As I said before, it's activated already in Console Cloud, and it comes with your Go Inspect subscription. So if you've already got that, if you're already using Go Inspect like most of you, I imagine, then it's already been activated. And you'll see what I mean when I pop into Console Cloud and then into the Tenant app, or what it will actually look like. All right, let's jump in. So I'm going to move over to Console Cloud now. I'm going to have a look at the PM side. So what you're seeing on my screen at the moment is an inspection, an entry inspection I've already completed. And obviously it's one I prepared earlier as well. So you can see I've completed this inspection and what I've completed it actually via the Console Go app, and that's obviously uploaded. I do have the option just quickly before I share it to view. So I can view that information all within Console Cloud. So don't forget that option is always there for you. You've got that option to review it just after you've submitted it via your Console Go app. So just in there, while that's loading, and you can see there's some inspection information and some images as well. So let's jump ahead and share it with our tenant. Most important, really cool part. So we have the option down here, and if you're seeing this report section down here looks a little bit different for your entries, then that is because obviously it is a different experience. So tenant review, let's go ahead and share that now. So if I click share, you'll notice in this screen also, it's automatically set it to a few days in advance. So what it's doing essentially is setting it in advance, just the standard 3 days as per most of our legislations. Obviously, you can change that as well. So you've got the option here to change it to 1 or to 10 days, but obviously it's dependent on how you do that. If the tenant doesn't complete by this due date, so let's say, for example, I set it as a couple of days in advance, so 13th, at 11:59. So if they don't complete it by 11:59 on the dot, then they'll lose access to this, and they'll never be able to access it unless you, of course, reshare it as well. So I'll show you that just before we jump into the tenant side. So sharing it, what this will do is it'll open up the message drawer just on your right. In here, it'll have a couple of links, and obviously this is a template. It's already in Console Cloud. And you've got the option to customize that as well and personalize a little bit more for your agency if you need to, but most of the information should already be in there. There's also some help articles and things like that in there for the tenants. So if they do get stuck getting started and filling out the form, then they'll have this information on there as well. There'll be a really key thing on there, which I'll sort of skip over now as well, is the email that comes to the tenant has a special link in there, and that link will essentially, if they're already a user of the Tenant app, that'll essentially open that Tenant app, and it'll start, it'll take them straight to that place where they need to click view that report. If they don't have the inspection app, then it will, it's a bit of a smart link, so it'll take them straight to the App Store, and then obviously they'll download the app from there, and then it will take them in and onboard them to the tab as well. So it's a great sort of process to onboard your tenants to the Tenant app and to get them into the habit of starting to use these really, really cool tools that are available to them and to you guys for free as well. So you can see here I've shared that with my tenant. They'll get an email now. And what I'm going to do now is pop over onto, I'm just refreshing my phone. I sent it to the right property. Yes, I did. Okay, so let's have a look on the phone now. So I'm going to move to my Tenant app. Here we go. That should be popping up in your screens just about now. And I can see that's a little bit weird looking, and that's just because I'm switching between multiple windows. So here we go. Awesome. So I'm going to grab my phone now. So what you can see here, don't be alarmed by the amount of inspections I've got on here. This is just from previous demos and playing with it myself. So what you can see here, I've got my inspection. Please review and sign by this date. If I click on review now, that opens me up to this screen. And then of course I can continue with my inspection. So you won't see just something to note. I'll probably say click or tap as I'm going along. You won't see what I'm actually doing, but you'll see where I'm going with my, when I click on it. So I'll be tapping on I'll usually start from the top to the end. So about this report is obviously where it says read before you start. So they'd tap on that. You'll notice there's some information about primary tenants and things like that. So the app does support multiple tenants. What it will do is for that primary tenant is it will nominate that, it will use the primary tenant within cloud, and it will basically enable that tenant to go through and take pictures and then write comments and things like that. And then the other tenants that will be in the property as well, they'll be able to review what they've completed together, and then obviously they need to sign and return that as well. So this is a little bit more information about the report. So I'm not going to go through and read all this to you. You'll see it as you start to use or as your tenants start to use it. So basically it's just telling them what to do, how to complete the report, and obviously to walk through and tap if they don't agree and tap if they do agree. There is also a little PDF link which I won't click on, and that will be basically linking to that first page of our ECR. So I'm going to go back. You'll notice a little confirmation box pops up, and this is just getting them to acknowledge that they've read the instructions as well. So really, really important for them to confirm that. Next part is let's go through and start reviewing our areas. And again, I've picked on purpose, I picked a really small property. You can imagine why with the amount of rooms and areas within those rooms, why I've picked a really small property with a really small amount of rooms. So probably not what we usually experience, but what I'll use today just to save me a little bit of time on here. So what I'll do essentially, so I'll go back, is I'll click on start from top down. I'll click on my first area as the tenant, and I'll walk through each of those areas. So you'll notice little arrows down the bottom, and you'll notice 1 of 5. So there's 5 things within the entryway that I need to check. And that's really the areas within those rooms that I need to go through. The little clean, working, undamaged. So that's the data that you've put in from your Console Go Inspect app or on Console Cloud. So they can't change any of this information. All this is asking them to do, just like we do the paper form, is to review it. And then, of course, put any comments and add any photos just so that we can look at those later. So really, they're adding photos if they don't agree with what you've said. If they do, they go around and they walk around and they go, yeah, this area looks really good. I totally agree with the property manager. Simply they click, yes, I agree. And then they'll tap next down the bottom right there. If, for example, they do not agree, so they might say, look at this room, this area in this room here and go, oh, I noticed the blinds are actually not working properly when I tried to move them. Maybe we didn't pick that up or we missed that in our entry. So they're going to say, no, I disagree. And what this will force them to do, so if they say, no, I disagree, and then they try and hit next, is it will ask them and it will say, you must add photos if you disagree. So I'm going to click OK. You'll notice there's also a not now option, and that all that's going to do is defer them to coming back to do this later. So they won't be able to submit any of these things unless they've put their photos and, of course, some comments in there as well. So click OK and put some comments. Blinds not opening, just as an example. And then I'm going to, and of course I can't spell. Let's go back and change that. Autocorrect. And then, of course, add photos. Since I disagree with what was put on the report, I'm going to click add photos. I'm just going to move. You want to see me move and take a little photo of some random blinds. Here we go. Sorry for the side face. Awesome. Perfect. So you can see that's in there now, and then I'll click next. So it's obviously going to let me continue. So I'm going to go through and, yes, I agree. We'll make this really easy, this one, and say, yes, I agree to everything. So basically, I'm just going to skip through this really quickly. Obviously, in real life, the tenant would not be skipping through. So you'll notice some things popping up, little red squares you would crosses you would have seen before, and that again is the information. Once again, one of the questions I get all the time about this is, can the tenant change what I've already put on there? And the short answer is no, they can't. So they're really reviewing what you've put in there, and you're really still in control of this report. Really what you're asking them to do is just put their comments and obviously review what you've put. And if they don't agree with what's been put in there, to obviously add comments and that. So you can see I'm right at the end now. When you get to the end, obviously it's grey, I can't go any forward. I can go back. And you'll notice there's some little green ticks now when I go back to the area review. So I can essentially, within those, say for example, 3 days I've got to complete it, I can come back to it as well and continue on if I need to do that. So they don't need to do it in one sitting or anything like that. I did mine in one sitting just because I am demoing it. I'm going to go back. So you can see here I've completed all my areas. One little other thing in the app which is really important is the extra information. So if I tap on that, it's going to give me a couple of little options. So water charging, really important. I haven't set anything up for this tenancy in here. So this is really essentially telling us about if the property's water meter, if it's metered, if it's a water efficient property, and also what the start reading of the property was at the tenancy as well. So it gives them that information. There's also a little additional information or additional comments box as well. So this allows them to put any additional comments about anything else. May not be relating to the report itself. So I'll just put something in here as for an example. I'll use this as my example. Couldn't find garage remote. And obviously those comments will go back. And then of course we could easily email them and go, oh, it's in the top drawer or something like that. So once I'm finished, so down where I've got sign report, so I'm going to go ahead and sign that. So this is essentially the last little part to doing this via the Tenant app. And then we'll come back after. I'll jump back into Cloud in a minute, and then we'll come back after the after I've completed it and sent it, and we'll view it from here. And I'll just show you on the Tenant app, but also the owner portal as well. I'll quickly show you before we jump off. So there we go. Uploaded, signed, sealed, done. So no waiting for them to return. Okay, let's share the other screen again. And my apologies, I'm jumping back and forward. Here we go. So you should see Cloud back on your screen now. It does look a little bit weird. Again, it is because I was using two different sized screens. So the little mobile one and then back on my Console Cloud screen. Cool, so you can see there, tenant review. I'm just going to refresh this so I can pick up the new completed inspection, review, sorry, I should say. And obviously the status will pop up as well. Awesome, so there you go. You can see tenant completed. And down the bottom now, this has changed as well. So really, really important. The tenant's reviewed and they've completed it. The next part is to see this little options button here. So I've got the option to download this report. I won't click this because I've had one up there earlier just so I can use it on the same screen. So I would download the report and I'll just show you a preview of what it might look like. Just one that I've prepared earlier as well. So that's downloading the report. I'm going to quickly switch over there. So this is one I've used for previous ones. You can see the address. You can also see the names of the tenants, the PM, etc. You might notice here the second line. So you've got here on the left-hand side, I've put all ticks. The tenant over on the right-hand side of this report, so where it says tenant agrees, there's a little cross there now. And that was that one, if you remember, I put no, I don't agree. And then I put some comments in there as well. So you can see here it says blinds are damaged. Then if I pop down the bottom, really, really important. So obviously there's agent photos and tenant photos. It'll keep copies of those for you to look at and to review as well. And then if I move down the bottom, I've selected yes to show the thumbnails on reports. You'll see that. And you can see there's that little tenant one they've put in there of the new one. Just back up. You'll see, obviously, sorry, this is where I meant to go. My signatures are down the bottom. So you've got your lessor, your agent, or your rental provider, and obviously your tenant or your renter down the bottom there as well, depending on which state you're in. So that'll be down there for your copies. So I'm going to pop back into Cloud for that now. So what happens when I'm finalizing this report? So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go finalize it with my tenant and my owner, and then I'm going to show you what this will look like for both the tenant and the owner, and then we will continue. So send final report. So again, you do this for each party. So let's say our tenants first is an important party. And this obviously includes the signed report once you've reviewed it of everything that they need to know. So it does send them another email. The part where they'll notice, and that's why I mentioned earlier, it's a great process to get your tenants onto the Tenant app, is it will show up in that Tenant app in that first screen in there as well. So really, really handy. So they'll be viewing everything in one area. There's no phoning and emailing and loose pieces of paper that may be lost in translation. So I'll also share it with the owner while I'm here. Before I change my screens again, and we have that resizing fun little stretched out screen. So let's change it to owner. So I'll share with my owner, and then I'll pop into the owner app just after I've popped back into my tenant app. Excellent. So I can see it popping up in my tenant app on my phone as the tenant. So I'm just going to reshare that one. One moment. A lot of switching back and forward. There we go. So what you're seeing, I'll just resize that so it's not a crazy little size. Okay, so what you're seeing here as well, and obviously I've probably got a previous one here which I'll use. That's why it says download many times from the ones I've done yesterday and before. So I'm going to use that one as an example. So inspection here. Now, instead of review, it'll say download. So this essentially is allowing you to download that report. So that'll allow you to save it. It'll allow you to send it to yourself or anything like that. And that'll be that PDF copy. Back into Console Cloud. And now I'm going to switch over to the owner portal. So again, owner portal for those that have never heard about it or never used it. As an owner, it allows you to obviously check on your investment and learn all about key things. And one of those key things obviously is your inspection reports. And that obviously is an option for you as the property manager or the agency to decide whether you share that information with your owners as well. So you can choose to not display certain information on the owner portal. Perfect. So here is my owner portal. Okay, so I'm going to go down and find my property. There it is there, Somerset Road. So I say drive and road at the same time, but we ended up saying road. So you can see that's the property. A little bit of quick preview what the owner portal looks like. So if you haven't seen it, this is a little insights for that. We will jump onto that at a different date. So in activity, the owner will see it under their inspection activity and then under the inspections filter in there as well. So you can see here there's an entry inspection that I've done earlier as well. I think there's one from the other day. I click on view report. So what it really does is it presents it in a really nice, clean looking online view for them rather than that really small PDF or anything like that. So they can switch through, look through each area and go through, have a look at photos, click on it and clearly see what's been happening at the property. Perfect. All right, so that's really about all I have for you today. So that's a really quick preview of what has just been released. So again, it's available now to our Console Go subscribers. It's already there if you already are a Console Go subscriber. So you'll see that option available when you're doing your entry inspections. And again, you can do it the other way if you prefer to. If you do want more info about Console Go Inspect, I'll put the website up on the screen. I think, yep, there it is. So again, that is free included with your Console Go Inspect subscription. If you do have any questions, like I said before, please pop them in the comments. If you are on YouTube, I don't see the comments after the session. I figured that out the other day. But for Facebook, I do see the comments after this session as well. So do certainly put them down the bottom and I will answer them after the session. So again, thanks everyone for joining. And I look forward to the next one, which is coming up next Tuesday. So that's the last little draw too, which will be another great feature for you. All right. Enjoy your day, everyone, and I will see you next time.